Welcome back to Here for the Common Game. Today I have got Mr. Clay in the house. Y'all know Clay. He's the one that did the Mana Vault sign. So he brought by his Adrix and Nev Twincaster deck. He played it the other day, and to be honest with you, it's amazing. And I was like, please let me film it. So here it is. Say hi, Clay.
Hi, Clay.
Anyway, we got a 4-mana, 2/2, Ward 2. One or more tokens would be created under your control. Twice that many of those tokens are created instead. That's just phenomenal. I mean, I want a doubling season in the command zone. That sounds cool. Anyway, let's get straight to tokens. Why not? Let's get straight to token production. There's some really good stuff in here. Obviously, he has the full Monty here, the trio of the doubling season, primal vigor, and parallel lives. So I have seen this deck make exponential. We stopped counting. It was 1,000 something copies.
2,400.
1,024 copies of his commander, non-legendary copies of his commander, in one turn, and that's when we called ball game. Fable of Wolf and Owl, because I mean, that's encompasses most of the deck, green or blue. Azuri's Predation. I know I didn't say it right. I never do. My Tennessee show. But it's a bunch of beasts. Rider Replication. All right, we're going to jump off here from the token copy making thing, because Rider Replication is, he has some really good targets in here to make 5 copies of, like I don't know, the one-shot robot. Blightsteel Colossus is a heck of a thing to make some copies of, some token copies. So those tokens, yeah, you get the idea. Parallel Evolution just gonna double up, and then again because it has flashback. Spitting Image, there again. The retrace is what makes this one, because you draw those lands on turn 13 that you don't really need. You just pitch them and make more copies of your Blightsteel. Quasi Duplicate, I mean, amazing. Jumpstart. Yeah, it had Jumpstart, but Second Harvest, double up your tokens. You really should see this thing in action at some point in time. Theoretical Duplication. Now, this is a new one from the Commander 21, and whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under an opponent's control this turn, you get a token copy. So they get a creature, you get a creature. Nadir Kraken. When you draw a card, yeah, I mean, that happens at least every turn. Helm of the Host. This one is the culprit of all the craziness for making copies of the commander. And by the way, it took like the whole table to do that math. Reef Worm, the worm that just keeps on getting bigger every time that it dies. And with your token doublers, for a 4-mana investment, you're going to get, even with just your commander out, this worm turns into 2 fish, which turns into 4 whales, which turns into 8 krakens. Now consider that you have the other multipliers out there. It gets insane. He don't mind blocking. Sure, he'll chump block all day long with those. Hornet Nest, because, Flying and Death Touch, that's not busted or anything. And the Hornet Queen, same thing. The Tusk Caller, because undo Tusk Caller. I used to be not so much on level up, but there are a few level up cards that are just clearly head and shoulders above the rest, and this is one of them. 2 to cast, and then for another 12-man investment. I know that sounds like a bunch, but in green and blue, it's really not. To get 2 3/3s, you just tap it and get 2 3/3s. He's got some untapping shenanigans in here as well to get the max value out of the Tusk Caller. Essex, the Fractal Bloom, also from C21. The first time you would create 1 or more tokens during each of your turns, you may instead choose a creature other than this and create copies that are copies of that creature. So if the Hornet Queen comes into play and brings her 4 little 1/1s, if you don't want those 1/1s and you want, you know, 4 more Hornet Queens, then you'll get the copy of the 4 Hornet Queens, which will in turn bring 16, assuming you don't have Adrix, and then it becomes, yeah, nasty. The synergy here is just, ooh, Hydra Broodmaster. Here again, this is kind of mana intensive, but you know what? Even at 6 mana 7/7, that's not bad. That's a really good rate. And then the monstrosity, uh, when this becomes monstrous, create infinite amounts of XX Hydra tokens. That's how it reads. I'm sorry. In this deck, that's how it reads. Spawning Kraken. Whenever a Kraken, Leviathan, Octopus, or Serpent, there's got to be a way for them to group that, right? Where they don't have to name it each, like they did with Historic, you know. I don't know. Deals combat damage. You get a 9/9 Kraken. Okay. I like free 9/9 Krakens. Now, I really like the Idol of Oblivion here. I've got it in the token maker, but it could also be in the card draw. Tap to draw a card. Oh, you can only activate it if you created a token this turn. Well, I think that's a thing we can do. So let's look at our ramp, shall we? It's ramp and color fixing. This is clay that's beautiful. It's beautiful, I gotta say. Standard fare that you would expect: Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Simic Signet, Rampant Growth, Kodama's Reach, Cultivate, and then the the Skyclave Relic. This is awesome. Okay, you're always going to kick it, right? Yes, this is Darksteel Ingot, right? It taps for a mana of any color. It's indestructible. It costs 3. No, you're always going to kick it, because if you kick it, you get 2 tap tokens. Now, your commander doesn't care that they're artifact tokens. They're tokens. So you're going to get 4. So for the low price of 6 mana, you're going to get 5 indestructible mana rocks that tap for any color, providing you don't have any other doubling things out there. Crazy. A little bit of card draw. We have AC, because Landfall draw card is pretty sweet. And it's part of the whole sea creature thing. So Growth Spiral. I consider Growth Spiral a card draw spell and not a ramp spell, even though it does both, or it can do both. You're always going to draw the card. You may not have the land to put into play, but you're always going to draw the card. Curiosity Crafter. You have no max hand size. That's valuable in and of itself. But whenever a creature token you control deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card. That's not a may. You have to. So that could potentially, yeah, you might have to splat your own bird wizard here. And then, probably one of the better card draw spells in the game, or in the format, Rhystic Study. Have a couple of oddball things. Regrowth. I'm a firm believer. If I've got a regrowth, it's in the green deck. I love the card. 2 mana just to reuse something over again. I love it. Snakeskin Veil. This is also beautiful. This is what a green counterspell looks like. Somebody's going to target your creature. Somebody's going to try to kill. They'll pay the ward cost, and they will try to kill your commander. And you spend your 1 green mana, put a counter on it, and go, no, it's hexproof. And then Primal Command does all of the things. Mainly searches for a creature. Yeah. And if here's the beautiful part, if that creature is already dead, you can shuffle the graveyard and the library and search for a creature. He's got 4 walkers here, which is outstanding. The Garrick the Primal Hunter, this thing makes tokens coming and going, literally. And might as well draw some cards while you're at it. All 3 options. Do you know how a lot of those planeswalkers, you'll have 1 okay, or 1 conditional, 1 okay, and then 1 kind of good? No, all 3 of these are really good. Tammy, the Collector of Tales. We don't have to discard or sacrifice anymore. Yeah. And she returns target cards from your graveyard to your hand. That is a beautiful thing. We have Kiora the Crashing Wave. Now, just casually getting 9/9s. And they are cracking. So there is kind of a deep sea theme I'm noticing. And then your friend and mine, the Teferi Master of Time. Because why not? Yeah, I mean, it's card draw. It's all of these are instant speed. So on any time, yeah, and you know his ultimate 2 turns, insane. Now, Ulamog the Infinite Gyre. The reason why Ulamog is in here is because of the aforementioned, oh no, I'm going to mill myself out. And I'll admit I have built a couple of mill decks because that's what the commanders do. And this is the ultimate defense. It really is, you know, because it's going to shuffle back in, bring the whole yard with it, you know. And in a pinch, it's a 10/10 Indestructible Annihilator 4, so why not? We are making more tokens with Landfall, get a 4/4. Probably 2 4/4s. Maybe 87 million 4/4s. Who knows? Junk Winder. Affinity for tokens? I have not seen this card. Oh my god. Affinity for tokens? So you're playing 2 blue, right? That's it for this 5/6. Oh, and it's a serpent. It goes, whenever a token enters the battlefield under your control, tap target non-land permanent and opponent controls it. Does it? Oh, wow. So you just tap down their blockers. Wow. I've seen the deck played, but I obviously haven't seen every card in the deck. I mean, I have while sorting it out, but I was just, it's a creature, it goes here. Orvar, the All Form. Changeling. So it's a serpent, a leviathan, and a mutant ninja turtle. Insert serpent targets one or more of the permanents you control. Create a token that's a copy of one of those permanents. That's silly. Mercfiend Liege. Hey, remember that guy that tapped to make those 2 elephants? Yeah, untap all green and or blue creatures you control during each other player's untap step. This is a Seedborn Muse that doesn't have as big of a target on it. Yeah, and it also pumps your team, sometimes twice. But Seedborn Muse, we all know, kill on sight. Mercfiend Liege is a little more subtle, even though in this deck, it almost does the same thing. You don't get your lands or artifacts, but you get your token makers, so that's what matters. Tanzan Arquandrix. Now, I have not seen this version that is different. Is he like praying with goat antlers? I don't know. Anyway, 5-mana 4/4 legend Elder Dragon, flying trample, enters the battlefield, double the number of counters on the target creature you control. Hey, y'all remember doubling season? It does things with counters too, not just tokens. Speaking of counters, the Forgotten Ancient. Whenever a player casts a spell, is there a better sentence in all of Magic? A player casts a spell, anybody, anytime, anywhere, it gets a counter or more. We have Coma. Can be countered, at the beginning of each upkeep. Each upkeep around the table, even if it's not yours, you get the 3/3 Serpent, probably getting 2 or 19, who knows. Mana Gorger Hydra, there again, a player casts a spell, it gets a counter. He's utilizing all parts of the Buffalo here, taking advantage of that doubling season. Clever Impersonator just becomes a copy of target Blightsteel. Yeah. And then the Progenitor Mimic. Have you ever gotten this on the Blightsteel? Because that would be sick. It hadn't happened yet. It'll happen. It's probably against me. and then, why not? Speaking of copying, we have Double Major. Yeah. Except it's not legendary if the spell is legendary. So you really want to do this on your commander so that you can get quadruple shenanigans going. Yeah, Ulamog's nice too. Yeah. Mirror Maid. Were you as disappointed as I was when I found out that it was Mirror Maid, like Milkmaid, and not like a maid that cleans a mirror? And then the Phyrexian Metamorph to copy. Artifact creature. That's as a thing. So let's look at some removal. Now, it's not a lot. There's 5 cards. Corrosive Grip. I mean, that's pretty good. Beast Within. Cyclonic Rift, because I mean, that's really as good as it gets, right? Rapid Hybridization, and Terastodon. Will not call it by its nickname because this is a family-friendly channel. But also, Terastodon is the perfect removal spell because even if you don't have to destroy things of your opponents, you can nuke 3 of your own lands if you're at that point in the game and get an insane amount of 3/3 tokens from it. Yeah, 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 that's crazy. So now we are into the non-basic lands. We won't go through the basics, but he's running basics. Uh, Blood Moon Protection and whatnot. I gotta say, Clay, that is a beautiful Misty Rainforest. I've gotta say that. It's pretty. Moss War Bridge. Do you think you'll have 10 power? Probably. Opal Palace. Orin Reef the Vast would love to play with the +1/+1 counters there. Lumbering Falls. By the way, this past weekend I have seen Manlands save a game. So if you're not running Manlands, pretty much this is the same thing as a Guildgate. If you have that option, these are worth their spot in the deck. Exotic Orchard, Myriad Landscape. I love Myriad Landscape. There's one line that I don't like. They have to share a type. And Waste don't have a type, so you can't use this in your Callistic. Well, you can use it, but it's probably the worst land in your deck. I think on the EDH Recasted about 4 days ago, they mentioned that. Y'all should go watch that. Because one of the challenge stats is from yours truly in that episode. Rogue's Passage. I'm proud of you, Clay. Rogue's Passage. Blighted Woodland getting enforced. Command Beacon. I like this. I love Command Beacon. Really helps after the table, meaning me, has killed the commander so many times it's no longer affordable. You got one more shot, right? Temple of Mystery. Homeward Path. Oh, Homeward Path. Yeah, because I'm a big fan of beating people with their own stuff. Kind of think about it, a lot of us are. A lot of us in our play group like that. Also, Homeward Path is a very good podcast by a good friend of ours, Adam. So check that out. Oh, what a pretty Fable passage. I'm going to have to zoom out here. It's stacking up. Yavimaya Coast, Study Hall, Quandrix Campus. Oh, what a pretty Flag Grove. Llanowar Reborn, because it has the graft one. That's beautiful. A little cycling action with a Lonely Sandbar. Maze of Ith, the original Maze of Ith. By the way, that is in really good condition. You don't see them. My Maze of Ith from the dark look almost white border. Reliquary Tower. You wouldn't think you need a Reliquary. In every Simic deck, you need a Reliquary Tower. I mean, because it just, draws a bunch of cards. Path of Ancestry, Simic Growth Chamber, Command Tower, Novan Heart of Progress, but does counters. That sweet Reflecting Pool, Tranquil Thicket, and Temple of the False God. And that is it. I got carried away, didn't I? That's 19 minutes. Wow. I appreciate you letting me film this, Clay.
Thank you.
I'm excited for it. I am not excited to play against it again. It was fun. It was fun until I got that final number at 1024 copies of your commander, and I was like, you know what? I'm out. But that's what we've got for today. I do appreciate y'all watching, liking, tell me what you think. But right now, we're going to go ahead and shuffle. And before I finish that, a little note here about that. I had forgot about it. Years ago, about 5 years ago, when I started the channel, I was experimenting with different things. If y'all have gone back and watched the original videos, first off, I'm sorry. It's pretty rough back in the beginning. But I said shuffle and cut one time, and Clay was the one that said, you know what, that should be your outro every time, and it has been. Thank you. So, with that being said, we're gonna shuffle and cut.